and shoop. Today we're doing an automatic transmission service on the 370Z. That means we are doing the fluid change, we are doing a gasket change, we are cleaning the filter, we are cleaning the pan, and we are cleaning the magnets. Here's the supplies you'll need. Some Nissan automatic trans fluid. This is Matic S. I'd recommend buying this and not what the local auto parts store guy tells you is available. Probably same for the gasket. Try and buy Nissan. Avoid the temptation to buy the cheaper stuff because you're just not going to do the service often and it kind of sucks. So it's better to do it right. The Z1 kit also came with a crush washer. I don't see it on the car currently, but we'll see what's there. You'll need a 10mm. This is for the oil pan bolts. A 19mm, that's going to be for the drain plug. A 5mm Allen key, that's going to be for the fill bolt. And then a torque wrench to get everything back down to spec when you're done. I have some PB Blaster. I will preemptively soak everything in. New England, everything likes to rust and snap, so that's going to happen anyways. A little Tupperware to catch all my bolts. There's about 1 billion. Some water to hydrate. And then your oil container. Safety prep first. Chock your wheels. Handbrake. Car needs to be level, so we're going to use 4 floor jacks. We're off the ground, we're level. Grab your drain container, slide it under there, followed by your little baby body right under this 3,000-pound machine. We're underneath. I already threw some PB Blaster on everything, that's why it's all wet. The plug you want is right here. You're just going to loosen that guy, let it all drain into your drain container. And as well, I also took these cables from the O2 sensors and kind of popped them off the clips that were on the oil pan. Here's an example of what your transmission fluid should not look like. That's mud. It's supposed to be pinkish when it's new, pinkish brown if it's used, never mud. Never sludgy mud. Transmission fluid's mostly out, so I'm gonna throw that plug back in there and then go around, take out all these 10mm, and I'm gonna leave a few on there just to hold it up so I can strategically take them off and lower the pans because it's gonna kind of make a mess. So I'm gonna try and spill it into the catcher best I can. All the 10mm bolts are now hand loosened. A couple things to note. You see the clips for the O2 sensors here. There's one on each side. You want to unclip those. That one was already pre-broken for me. So then you could just reach the bolt that's covered by each one of those. Then you have each bolt that sits in the corner. These ones. There's one on this side as well. Those are hard to reach with a socket. So if you bring a 10mm spanner, you can reach it under here and it easily gets to that for you. So I'm just going to finish removing the rest of these and start dropping the pan. And again, like I said, I'm gonna leave a few in there just to hold it up to help me with not spilling it. All right, we've got all but 2 bolts out. 2 of them did snap, but it's New England, so that happens. I'll have to drill those out. So now I'm gonna take out those last couple bolts, try and drop this pan and spill it into the container if all goes well, which it won't. Here's the inside of the pan. This is 80,000 miles worth. The gasket is pretty toast, so good thing we're changing that. Here's your magnets that collect your metallic stardust from your transmission. If I press a finger in this, you can kind of see how deep the nastiness goes. So we're gonna pull these magnets out, clean the magnets, clean everything out of the pan, put the magnets back. We're gonna clean the filter too while this is off. Don't use chemicals to clean this because I'm not sure if that's actually safe or if it would contaminate the automatic transmission fluid, but regardless, you really don't need to. Just make sure you wipe everything out and get it nice and clean. Here we go. Okay, I dealt with my broken bolts. Sorry, my light died, so I'm using a flash here. This is the filter. So we need to take off all these bolts that go around the filter, drop it out, wipe it clean, and put it back. Not too much of a big deal, but the bolts are different sizes. So if you lay them out in a cloth, the same way that you took them off, it's gonna make your life a lot easier later. Here's the filter out. So we're just gonna take a cloth, wipe down this whole surface till all this old transmission fluid's gone and throw it back on. Here it is cleaned, time to put it back on. Filter's back on the car. Now we gotta get this gasket set onto the pan and take our clean pan, put that back on the car. But while this is off, go ahead and attack this fill plug because it's a pain in the ass. So it's a lot better to do it now than when you're on your back. So the pan's back up. The bolts are all kind of hand tightened down. So now we have to get it fully tightened. And to do that, generally you wanna work from the center toward the outside just to get a nice mating surface and so the gasket doesn't get messed up. So you tighten down this one in the center, then that one in the center, then move out one, tighten it down, same one on that side, then jump back to the other side of center, tighten that down, same one on the other side, and just keep doing that, working the way to the outside. The pan snug back up. We have the fill plug out. I forgot to mention, you'll need something like this. This is just goes into these, and you're going to use it to pump all the fluid into the transmission. So here's what that looks like assembled. I'm just going to take this end. That's going to go into the fill hole that we pulled the plug out of. And I hit a problem because this is too big to fit into the hole. So I have to find another pump. All right, so I had to go get creative. I went to the store, found an adapter that fits into the end of this hose to go into a smaller hose, and then that hose goes into the pan. There's definitely a better way to do this. But I'm gonna sit here and pump out all these quarts, and then we'll move on to the next step. All 6 quarts are in. Now I'm gonna start the car, let it idle. About 15 minutes, we're trying to get it up to 140 degrees. Then we're gonna pull the fill plug back out, let it drain until it stops. This should cycle all of that, the old fluid that's still in the torque converter or the cooler, and then we'll have all new fluid. We'll drain it back out to a normal level, and then we should be good to go. Drop the car back down. It's been about 15 minutes now, so the car should be right around up to temperature. So we're gonna pop underneath, pop out that 5mm Allen plug that we used to fill, and just let it drain until it comes to a drip or stops completely. But do not shut the car off. This needs to be done while the car is running, so watch out for those pipes. Okay, as you can see, it's just about done draining. It's lightened up quite a bit, so once that gets to a drip or stops completely, we're just gonna cork it up and torque it down to spec. As you can see, I have it going into the oil catcher. Make sure you have that in place. But that's it. Once that's completed, we should be done and we can drop the car back to the ground. Everything looks good. There's no leaks. Sounds fine. It's back on the ground now. So we're just going to go through the gears. Just go from park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then back through them and just kind of letting it lubricate itself and move all that oil around. So do that for a couple minutes, take it for a ride, you're good to go. Thanks, hope this helped.